There are moments in life when everything feels like it's slipping away. The opportunity you waited for vanishes. The person you trusted walks away. The door you prayed for suddenly closes. You stand there staring at the wreckage, wondering if you've been forgotten by the very universe you believed was listening. But what if I told you it only takes 7 seconds to turn everything around? 7 seconds. That's all it takes to reverse a storm, to shift energy, to rewrite a moment that seems irreversible. You see, the universe doesn't respond to long explanations. It doesn't move because of panic or begging or desperate prayers. The universe responds to authority, the same way you order a coffee and expect it to arrive. The same way you press a switch and expect light to come on. You don't plead with the electricity, you command it. And that's the energy Florence Scovel Shinn taught us to live by, the power of spoken command. Because your words are not ordinary sounds. They're spiritual decrees. They are divine codes that instruct invisible forces to rearrange reality. The problem is most people don't know how to speak that language. They command from fear, not from faith. They speak uncertainty, disguised as prayer. They ask for light while describing darkness, and then they wonder why nothing changes. But the truth is simple. Your world obeys your tone. Not your tears, not your effort, not your logic, your tone. If your tone carries fear, the universe echoes fear. If your tone carries faith, the universe echoes miracles. This is why Florence said your word is your wand. Because it cuts through confusion, it slices through doubt, it moves the unseen. So, let's talk about that 7-second command. The ancient secret hidden in plain sight. Imagine you're standing in the middle of chaos, bills piling up, relationships breaking, health declining, your mind running wild. Every instinct in you wants to panic, cry, or overthink. But in that exact moment, the 7-second power that activates miracles, do something completely different. You stand still. You take a breath. And with unwavering conviction, you say 1. Peace. Be still. 3 words, 7 seconds. Infinite power. When Jesus stood in the middle of a raging storm, the disciples panicked. The wind howled. The waves rose high. Their boat almost capsized. But Jesus didn't shout at the storm. He didn't explain to the sea why it should calm down. He simply said, "Peace, be still." And the storm obeyed. Why? Because the universe recognizes authority spoken from alignment. He didn't speak to the storm. He spoke from divine authority through. That's what Florence meant when she said, never try to force a situation. Speak the word and then do not resist. So, when your finances, health, or emotion start spinning out of control, don't speak from panic. Don't say, I'm broke, or it's too hard, or I don't. Pause and command from alignment. Say, peace, be still. Say, divine order is now established. Say, every force is working in my favor. Now. Each of those statements carries a vibration, a signature that tells creation to reorganize itself. The universe doesn't hear words, it hears frequency. And when your frequency carries certainty, even chaos must bow. That's the secret behind the 7-second command. Now, don't mistake simplicity for weakness. People often think, how can something so short have so much power? But look at how reality was created. Let there be light. 4 words, yet those words ignited galaxies. That's the law of divine brevity. Power doesn't need length. It needs certainty. When Florence said, I do not limit God by seeing limitation in myself. She was teaching us how to remove resistance because resistance delays command. Doubt interrupts divine flow. If you speak from fear, the energy divides. If you speak from faith, the energy unites. And Florence Scovel Shinn's law of command: when energy unites, miracles accelerate. Now, here's something people miss. When you give a command, you must release it like an arrow and not chase it. You don't give a command and then check your phone every 5 minutes to see if it worked. You don't command healing and then start researching symptoms again. You don't command wealth and then scroll through worry. You speak it. You let it go, you rest. That's how spiritual power works. Because in divine law, certainty is evidence. When you truly believe, you stop begging, you stop analyzing. You start knowing. So when you say peace, be still. Say it once but mean it fully. Feel your spirit align. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your breathing slow down. That's when your words begin to vibrate at creation's frequency. And that's when you'll notice the shift. Someone calls with unexpected good news. Money appears where you least expect it. The heaviness in your chest lifts. The atmosphere literally rearranges. Not because you forced it, but because you commanded it. That's the unseen intelligence. Florence talked about the divine design. It always exists, but it responds only to clarity. The 7-second command isn't about saying magic words. It's about tuning your inner vibration, so your words carry the weight of truth. And truth once spoken cannot return void. So the next time you face something that feels irreversible, don't panic. Don't over-explain. Don't argue with life. Just center yourself. Inhale deeply and speak peace. Be still. Let those words echo. Let silence follow, because silence is the soil in which miracles grow. Florence would say, when you speak the word, it sets spiritual law into motion. You may not see results immediately, but the law never fails. And that's exactly what's happening. When you use the setting second command, you're setting spiritual law in motion. Even when why most people block their own manifestations. Nothing looks different, something is already rearranging itself. Invisible gears are turning, doors are aligning, delays are dissolving, and soon reality catches up. You'll stand in awe and realize it wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. It wasn't coincidence. It was your command. The same command that shifted seas, healed bodies, and multiplied bread is still active, waiting for you to use it. Because divine power never expired. It only waited for your voice. So, you've spoken the command, peace, be still. You've released it into the atmosphere, and now you wait. But not the kind of waiting that comes from anxiety. This kind of waiting is a posture of trust. You see, real faith doesn't chase evidence. Real faith creates it. When you command peace, your job isn't to check the waves. It's to stay centered while the waves calm themselves. Florence Scovel Shinn once wrote, when you speak the word and then give thanks that it is done, you have created the invisible first, and soon it will manifest in the visible. That's how the law works. You speak, you thank, and then you rest. Because gratitude is the spiritual seal. It's your signature at the end of a divine command. It says, I have spoken. It is done. When you live this way, everything about you begins to shift. Your tone changes, your walk changes. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You become what Florence called a divine commander, someone who no longer lives at the mercy of conditions, but commands conditions to obey divine order. Now, let's talk about how to use this daily, because power unused is power wasted. Everyday life presents small storms. A negative thought, a delay, a bill, a word from someone that stirs war. Opportunities to practice command. When anxiety whispers, "What if this doesn't work?" Don't negotiate with it. Say calmly, "Be still." When your mind begins to race, say, "Divine order, how to speak with spiritual authority, governs my mind." Now, when a situation looks uncertain, say, "Nothing can stop what God has already aligned for me." These are not affirmations. These are commands. And the difference between the two is energy. An affirmation tries to convince. A command declares what already is. That's why Florence's words still echo a century later. She didn't teach people to beg life for mercy. She taught them to speak life into obedience. Think about it. Every time Jesus performed a miracle, he didn't ask if it would work. He'd come, "Rise, take up your bed and walk. Lazarus, come forth. Peace, be still." All those commands took less than 7 seconds, but shifted entire realities because he knew the secret. Authority doesn't shout, it speaks calmly. And that's something most people miss. They think power is loud. It's not. Power is quiet certainty. When you're truly in tune with divine law, you don't have to scream your command. You just align with it, and the whole universe rearranges itself to fulfill it. Florence said, "By your words, your world is built or destroyed." So every word you speak is a construction site. Your sentences are scaffolds. Your tone is the architect. That's why when you wake up each morning, before checking your phone, before remembering yesterday's stress, take 7 seconds and command your day. Say, "Today unfolds in divine perfection. Every step I take is guided and blessed. My supply flows freely and endlessly." You're not just talking. You're setting vibration. You're instructing the unseen. Do this consistently and your life becomes a magnet for aligning people. Leave peacefully. The right doors open effortlessly. You start meeting the right opportunities at divine timing. Because now you're not reacting, you're directing. Florence once said, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astonishing accuracy." That's why your 7-second. The formula, the right words in 7 seconds. Command must come from love, never fear. If you command from anger, the universe mirrors resistance. If you command from faith, the universe mirrors order. When you speak your command, feel love behind. Feel calm behind it. Here's it power. Here's a practice to master it. At night before bed, sit quietly. Breathe slowly. Then recall one situation that feel heavy, something you've been worried about. Instead of analyzing it, just visualize it floating in front of you and softly say, "Peace. Be still." Then smile because it's already done. Go to sleep with that peace and watch what happens within 48 hours. You'll begin to notice subtle shifts. Phone calls, breakthroughs, sudden clarity. Not because you forced the outcome, but because you commanded peace into it. Peace is the most powerful creative frequency in existence. When peace enters a situation, confusion loses its grip. When peace fills your mind, ideas begin to flow. When peace governs your finances, provision begins to multiply. That's why Florence said, "The invisible forces are ever working for the man who is at peace with himself. Now here's the part most people forget. Peace is not the absence of storms. It's the presence of divine order within them. Anyone can speak peace when things are calm, but power belongs to the one who speaks peace in the storm. Because the universe tests authority through contrast. It asks, do you still command when the world shakes? And if your answer is yes, the world must still itself around you. That's divine law. So, whenever life tests you, pause, smile, and remember this is just an opportunity to demonstrate mastery. Don't get angry, don't argue, don't react. Just speak your 7-second command. And then rest, that's your ultimate spiritual technology. And once you master this, once you learn to speak only what you real life examples of instant shifts want and never what you fear, your life becomes almost effortless because the energy of struggle fades. You no longer swim against current. The kunju. People will look at you and wonder how you stay calm through chaos. They'll ask, what's your secret? And you'll simply smile. Because your secret isn't outside you, it's in your words. The same words you once used casually, you now use consciously. Every sentence you speak builds your destiny. Every phrase carries your future. So guard them, shape them. Speak like the divine creator you are. Florence said, I have a wonderful work in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. Simple, confident, certain. That's how you should speak about your life. Say it when things are good to multiply them. Say it when things are shaky to stabilize them. Say it when you feel lost to find direction again. Because your 7-second command doesn't just reverse situations, it rewires you. And that's the real miracle. You begin to realize that the storm was never outside. It was always within. Once you calm the inner waves, the outer world naturally follows. So as you move through your day, remember this truth. Don't react, command. Don't doubt, declare, don't chase a line. And above all, never forget that you are a vessel of divine authority. You carry the same creative breath that spoke galaxies into existence. Every word you speak vibrates how gratitude seals your miracle through eternity. So when fear comes knocking, smile and say, peace, be still. When delay tries to frustrate, you say, divine order is now established. When confusion tries to cloud your path, say, light is upon my way. And then walk as if it's already done, because it is. That's the vibration of true faith. It's not pretending, it's knowing. Florence said, faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. So act like it, walk like it, speak like it, and soon life itself will bow in agreement. Because the universe is not your opponent, it's your echo. It mirrors the rhythm of your words. So speak rhythmically, speak purposefully, and let the world adjust to your vibration. The 7-second command is not just a phrase, it's a practice. Use it every day. Teach it, live it, and watch your life transform from reaction to creation. Because in the end, the most powerful thing you can ever say, the most sacred decree you can ever make is also the simplest. Peace. Be still.